it's important for us to send a message to the world that when Americans are attacked, no matter how long it takes, we will find those responsible and we will bring them to justice. And that's a message I sent the day after it happened, and regardless of how long it takes, we will find you.
Perhaps there will finally be some clarity as to why the American embassy in Benghazi was attacked. And I guarantee there are some critics of the Obama administration who won't like the response. But to be down the middle on this, why should anyone believe anything a murderous terrorist may tell us? It's an issue gripping the nation now. We thus welcome in a veteran political consultant and Republican strategist from the Meath Media Group in the nation's capital. Jason Meath joins us on Midpoint. Jason, thanks so much for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
Let's get, first of all, to the issue about the capture of this individual. There are those who will say that, why did it take you so long? I have seen headlines where the parents of victims have asked, why did it take you so long? Jason, is it not fair to say, though, that things like this take time, and it's not as if, and I'm going to couch this here, not as if it could happen overnight. In the same breath, this was a guy who apparently was walking around giving interviews for a time, so it's not as if we didn't know where he was, but you've still got to put the case together, correct?
Oh, you're absolutely right. This guy had all the subtlety of Lady Gaga. You know, I mean, people knew where he was. People knew what he had done. We've known it for some time. We asked the Libyans to help. I'm really not surprised what that answer was. We got nowhere. You know, we finally had to take action. And look, I mean, I give all the credit where credit should be due to the special forces who drop in, you know, under cover of darkness or almost instantaneously and extract somebody from a country, albeit somewhat hostile environment. So we have to give credit to them, but I'm not really sure that I can give full credit to Obama, because like what a lot of things that he does and his administration does, I think this raises more questions than answers.
All right, what questions are those?
Well, I think we need to be a little suspicious of the timing here. I mean, look, I mean, it's a little too nice and tidy, the way that this was done and the timing of it and when it was done. I mean, Hillary's on a book tour, as we know. She's out there facing down questions every step of the way on Benghazi. She has very few, if any, answers. I think we also should question the fact that the Obama administration themselves blamed this attack originally, including Secretary Clinton at the time, on a YouTube video. And then suddenly Obama describes out of the blue the ringleader of this operation has been caught. So I'm not sure if it's a YouTube video. I don't know if it's this ringleader. Again, we've got a lot of confusion there, and nobody's really clearing it up.
Well, I think it is fair to say, too, that there have been several reports that in the initial instance here, that Ahmed Abdul Khattala has said that because of religion and because of religious factions, that he did mention the video as something that he indicated was something that was part of his planning. So should we at least not have to consider that? Again, not looking for excuses here, not saying that's the end result, but we at least have to take what he says. But as I said in the introduction, we also have to wonder then if he's telling us the truth in all senses.
Absolutely. Who do you believe? I certainly am not going to believe a terrorist, but I will say that there are a lot of layers to this onion. It all smells a little bit too much to me. We were given one explanation that seems to be false by the administration, blaming this whole thing on a video, and it turns out that it's a lot more complicated than that, as we're finding out. It's also, this timing is very suspicious. I mean, I'll say once again, I think it almost is like a scripted movie, and I'm dying to see the rest of it. It's like they kind of rolled this out at a very interesting time when, you know, Hillary is out pushing this book, Hard Choices. You know, I think that another, you know, you asked about the questions that it raised. I think some of the questions are answered. I mean, you know, Hillary's got this book called Hard Choices, and we didn't really see her make all that many hard choices during this. I mean, we saw her, she had a hard choice to refuse added security to Ambassador Stevens. What did she do? She refused. I mean, she had a hard choice to label the terrorist organization. She refused. You know, that's not hard choices to me. And so that's kind of what it draws in my mind. I think it's also very convenient for her that this suspect has been captured.
Let me ask you then from a strategic standpoint here, because seeing what's happening now, and of course the Republicans have their criticisms of the Obama administration. You certainly mentioned one of them, the timing here. From a strategy standpoint here, what would be the smart thing for the Republicans to do in discussing this capture, where the Benghazi investigation goes from here, and any follow-up by the administration?
Well, that's a great question, and I think that that remains to be seen what they'll do. I think what I would, just from a political strategic point, I would really sort of continue to press the timeline of events, exactly what happened as this unfolded, and really kind of corner Hillary Clinton on her decision-making process or lack thereof. I think that either she took her eye off the ball. I mean, we all remember that ad that received so much attention when she was running against Barack Obama about the 3 a.m. phone call and who would you trust to do the right thing. I'm not so sure that she really did the right thing on this 3 a.m. phone call. I think that's answering the question. I think we need to find out why. I think we need to find out what her motivations were, or her lack of motivation was in this instance. So far, we've received no answers.
We've gotten a couple of opinions on this as Mrs. Clinton is on her book tour now, and some are saying, including our previous guest, Anita Findlay, the author, who indicated that she is certainly not a candidate at this point. And perhaps that's why if you ask her questions as a candidate, it simply might not be proper. Is it not fair to say, though, that if you're out on this book tour, if you are in this arena, and if you are being talked about in this sense as a potential candidate, that it's okay to ask those questions that might become policy down the road for a president?
Absolutely, it's okay. I mean, the reason that she's not a candidate and she's doing a book tour is so she can make money and everybody can make money off of the book, and it doesn't smell because she's a candidate running for office and she's not receiving all sorts of free airtime. That would a candidate would then need to give reciprocal airtime to someone else running against them. I mean, I think that it's a little tidy what they're doing here as far as her not being a candidate. It's sort of a wink-wink sort of gesture. I mean, everybody knows she's going to run or she wants to run. So yes, I think every step of the way, therefore, she needs to be asked about this. Her book didn't really give any answers. It was even the Washington Post that reviewed it said it was sort of a whitewash of what really happened, and we really need to still look into it and find out what those real answers are. So far, she isn't, giving up anything. She's a seasoned veteran of politics, one of the best, and she's beaten the Republicans at their game many, many times. And it seems so far she's doing it again.
As a strategist, then, would you say that she's playing it perfectly on this tour?
I think she is, as far as not answering any hard questions, but I also think that this tour has raised some doubts about her ability as a candidate. I mean, you remember that she was sort of seen as this inevitable powerhouse back in 2008, and started crumbling, and gave rise to Barack Obama's viability. Until she was, she didn't really even make it all that far in the primary process. So if she has some challengers on her side or even on the Republican side when in the general, I think that we're still seeing that ability to kind of self-destruct and crumble. I mean, some of these, for example, the NPR interview, NPR is not necessarily known as hostile to liberals, and suddenly she sort of made this whole debacle out of her answer to when she supported gay marriage. So I think that she's still having some very big difficulties maybe the NPR host was sort of pressing her on that question, but my gosh, it was rather softball stuff.
About a minute or so that we have left here. From your position again as a strategist, how is the administration then handling Iraq at this point?
Oh, well, the administration has said that their top two foreign policy accomplishments has been ending the war in Iraq and decimating al-Qaeda. Well, we heck of a job. We've gotten, those are both failures now. The Pentagon and the Congress repeatedly for months knew that there were problems in Iraq, that the terrorists were moving into Western Iraq, and the administration simply apparently ignored them until it was way too late. And now we have sort of this double speak of, oh, we're not going to send in any troops. And then suddenly we find out, oh, no, well, we're going to send in 250. You know, again, they're contradicting themselves. They look like they sort of look like they're really fumbling the ball on this.
And they will continue to try and let the American people know what's going on and try and garner their favor as well. Jason, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend. We'll do it again. Thank you.
Great pleasure. Thanks.
All right, here we go now. You've heard us talk a little bit about it, the strategies. Now it's your chance. Strategize with us, if you will, via social media. Tell us what you think of what you've heard. We invite you to join us on Facebook, by email, by Twitter as well, and we, of course, will discuss your comments right here. This is the Newsmax TV network, and this is Midpoint, where every day we question everything.
Once